Hitting.
Hello and welcome everybody to today's News Tonight, episode 182. Wow, time sure does fly. This is, of course, the weeknight news show where we're joined by special guests, our lovely patrons, and our amazing YouTube audience to discuss the day's gaming news. I'll be your host for today, Ash Paulson, and I'm joined by my good friend and GVG co-founder, Derek Bittner, and friend of GVG and overall internet good guy and gaming content creator, Naveed Mohebbi. How's it going, Naveed?
Going well. How are you guys? Thanks for having me on once again.
Of course.
We're great. We're happy to have you back, man.
There's something important here, Ash, that you'll really enjoy about Naveed recently.
Oh. I already enjoy him. So.
Oh, yeah. Well, he is going through his backlog, and guess what he's playing currently?
A lot of it.
Uh-oh. Mega Man something?
Mega Man Legends.
Yep.
Hell yes. Is it so it's your first time playing it?
First time.
Oh, dude.
I miss so much of the PS1 library. Like I've been collecting a ton of PS1 stuff over the years, but I just haven't been able to go back to it until recently because I actually just a few months ago got in the Polymega, which you guys actually talked about on the show
right.
a couple months back with the N64 module. So I actually had that pre-ordered and I got that in and have been playing a bunch of stuff. I beat Symphony of the Night for the first time.
Oh God!
So good.
Vagrant Story.
I still need to play Vagrant Story,
dude. So you basically have like this just treasure trove of PS1 era games to discover and enjoy for the first time.
Yep. I mean, like also like a bunch of other stuff like Saturn and other things like that. But yeah, like Mega Man Legends, I'm playing right now because I was like, okay, this is a nice short game. I've always wanted to play it. It's really fun so far. I'm like an hour and a half in, 2 hours. I just beat the first time you fight. I don't know if it's the only time or the last time.
You protected the mayor's place.
Yeah,
right.
I fought Tron.
Yeah, Tron and Bon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mega Man. Yeah. Oh man, how charming is that game so far?
It looks so good,
right?
Too. Like,
it is. I still think it is one of the best looking PS1 games. It holds up so well compared 100%. To everything else in the system.
The art style.
It looks. Good. Yeah, it's like a playable anime. It looks like you're playing an anime essentially, and the voice acting is so charming. It was really ahead of its time, I think, in terms of voice casting and just writing and the overall feel, the cutscene direction. It just felt like a game ahead of its time. And man, I love it. I love it.
I can feel like some of the jankiness of the PS1 era stuff, but like it also makes me go back. I think Derek was kind of alluding to this on Twitter or something, but man, thinking about Mega Man Legends 3 and like if I go through Mega Man Legends 2 and play that and thinking about how that
I can't recommend Legends 2 enough. Like I think
I'll be able to play it.
Legends 1 is good, but I do think I prefer Legends 2 because it improves on a lot of things, and
it does.
The story ramps up because up until the end of the game, there's not much story to Legends. It's sort of mostly dealing with the bonds, which they're fantastic.
Right.
But Mega Man Legends 2 is when it really get a sense of the overall plot and where it's going, and it's some really good stuff. I'm just sad that my favorite character is Teasel, and I will never, even if Legends 3 comes back, it will have to be a different actor.
Oh, it would have to be because of what that actor unfortunately got involved in. That's bad vibes all around.
I don't think you've met Teasel yet. An hour and a half in.
I haven't. I've just seen him. It's Teasel Bond, right? Like
yes.
The other
Teasel Bond.
I saw him.
Boy.
I saw him in the opening menu cutscene or whatever, because there's a cutscene that plays before you even start the game. Mm-hmm. If you just sit on the menu, so I did get to see him there, but not in the actual game yet.
You are in for an amazing cast of characters that you're about to meet, and Derek's right. Like the most of the lore comes in toward the end of Legends 1, and then is really expanded on Legends 2. But I still think Legends 1 has one of the best cliffhanger endings ever. Like I remember when I first meet it, and I'm like, whoa, what's even going on here? So, dude, I'm so happy for you. And
one of the best cliffhanger endings because you have a follow-up. You would also say that about Legends 2 if we had a follow-up.
Right. But so you were saying Vagrant Story. There's also like Parasite Eve, Brave Fencer Musashi, Xenogears. Okay.
Parasite Eve is one that I played like 2 years ago or last year.
Okay.
Nice.
I didn't wait to play that one, so I did play that. But yeah, like Brave Fencer Musashi, I haven't played it. Xenogears, did you mention that?
Yeah.
Like, that's one.
Yeah, Xenogears. Yeah, Chrono Cross. If you've already played Chrono Trigger.
Yep.
Like,
that's one.
Oh man, I'm so excited for you, man. You're gonna have so much fun discovering all these games.
It's basically all I've been doing for the beginning of the year this year. I mean, there's not been a lot of new stuff coming out, so I've been focusing on old games.
It's a good time to do it before all the crazy stuff comes out.
Exactly. And speaking of not a lot of new stuff coming out, there also hasn't been a lot of news stuff coming out, as you may have seen in the thumbnail.
Yeah.
This is going to be kind of a like halfway between a slow news day and a regular news day. So this is going to be a bit more freewheeling, casual. We are going to hit some topics today, but I don't think we'll have too much to say about.
Think of it like Monday stream, where we're just sort of going through the topics, talking about it, but it's like it is what it is.
Right.
That's it. Real quick before, wait. Are you going to refer to it? Actually, you were about to pull off.
I think.
Good man.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So you have a question from Neoxin in the YouTube chat about a review you just did. You just reviewed Uncharted Legacy of Thieves Collection right here on the channel. You should go check it out if you haven't. But Neoxin has a question for you. Does the Uncharted Collection have gyro aiming as an option like The Last of Us Part 2?
No, it does not. I didn't look in the controls, but trust me, Sony was very thorough about here are the new things.
Dude,
yeah. And they're like, and with them being so like, you got to have copy provided. You got to have, say, whether it's in fidelity or performance mode. Like, trust me, they would be saying whether you're doing gyro aiming or not. So no gyro aiming in this one, but I mean, still fun. I mean, the game's hold up incredibly well. Like it was interesting going through there because I was reaching that point of like, how you play some games and there's the conversation about it happens and you're kind of like, and it's been a few years and you're like, was it as good as I remember? Maybe I was just misremembering. I was just caught up in the hype at the time, but no, replaying Uncharted 4, I'm like, this is good. This is really good. My second favorite in the series. And it was great actually getting the chance to experience Lost Legacy for the first time.
Lost Legacy is really good. I really like that game. And Uncharted 4, I want to revisit it because I think it's still my second favorite in the series, but I remember having some major pacing issues and some narrative issues with it when I first played it. I still really liked it, but there were some things
Here's the crazy thing. I didn't feel the pacing issues this time.
Really? Okay. Good. Good to hear.
I didn't play. I'll say this because I played Uncharted 4 before. I didn't actually finish it, but I got to, more than halfway done with the game. So, but that first half, unless the second half is what you're thinking of, as far as pacing issues.
It was probably a little bit more like in the middle of the game, kind of like middle to second half, I guess.
Okay.
Ish, yeah, but it's been several years, right? So I can't say for sure. I'd have to go back and play it again. But I hope I get a chance to because these are games I'd like to revisit, remastered. But as we know, we've been
$10 for the upgrade,
which is not that bad. Which is not that bad. It's great. That's fantastic, actually. So
this would be a good time for me to get into it because I actually never got a chance to play those PS4 Uncharted games.
Oh, nice.
Oh, you should. Yeah, they're great. Yeah. Well, speaking of backlogs, actually, we do have a super chat from Rockdraw for $5 Australian. Thank you very much. Saying, speaking of backlogs, been adulting for the past 5 years. I'm finally going to play Zelda Breath of the Wild. Any tips? And
I do.
I agree with what. Yeah, go ahead, Derek.
Oh, I missed the actual tip. For Snoopy's tip. Yeah, that's a good way to. That's a good tip. I'm sure you'll go over it. Turn off. Go into the options. Turn off the UI. Go to the less informative UI. It's less invasive, and you can just really explore. I played the entire game with the UI, basically turned off, and found everything. Had no issue. You just got the chance to sit back, enjoy, find it on my own. There are helps. There are things that help, but I didn't need it. I played through the entire game without needing all that extra stuff that was always on the screen.
I got a tip as well.
And I would also... Oh, go ahead. No, please.
I
by all means.
don't know if I didn't see the other tip, but I would say sometimes a lot of people have that mentality of needing to save like your better weapons, your best weapons. So because there is the whole durability thing in this game, I say don't worry about that. Use whatever weapons you want. Use all the tools you have at your disposal to think about different ways outside of the box to take out enemies and things like that. That makes the game so much more fun than just kind of like saving all your like super
best
powerful weapons.
You get so many weapons. I don't think you really need to worry about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Agreed. You get so many, and as Cheeto Cobra says in our YouTube chat, take your time, enjoy the vistas, don't look up guides. Like, and I completely agree with that. This is a game that you, unless you're stuck in a dungeon and you need to look up something specific, that's different. But when you're starting out, just explore and like don't look up all the recipes. Experiment with different ingredients, because if you look up the recipes, you're going to find the best ones and abuse them from the beginning, and that's not fun.
Yeah,
it completely breaks the difficulty curve of the game. So like just explore. And personally, what I did was I went around and activated all the towers first, and I had a great time doing that. But you know, that does kill a bit of the story pacing, and there isn't that much story to begin with, so you may just kind of want to explore a bit and then do a story thing whenever you feel like it.
What I did was just I headed towards Kakariko when it informed me to, and then just sort of working my way in a counterclockwise fashion around everything, and just got my towers as I went to the next section, and just did it that way.
But basically, above all, have a good time. You know, just try not to use too many guides. Enjoy it, because even if it isn't personally like my favorite Zelda game ever, there is no other game quite like it, the way it's designed in terms of being a truly open world, just do whatever you want style of experience. And it does open world in a way that is just really incredible and open-ended. It is amazing. So just enjoy the ride, and you know, don't let too many people backseat game for you. Which is ironically, you kind of asked us if we had any tips, but that's where we want to cut it off. Just have a good time. Yeah, we don't want to give any more direction than that.
I think we left enough open that you can just go for it at that point.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, well, we do have some news to get to today. We have 2 more super chats, though. First up is $2 from Sonic and Mega Man 531. Thank you very much with one of your usual matchups. Here we go. Megaman.exe from Mega Man Battle Network versus Kirito from Sword Art Online. I don't know anything about Sword Art Online, but I do know that Megaman.exe is like galaxy level strong, and he's Megaman.exe, so I'm going to go. I'm going Megaman.exe, straight up. What about you guys?
I don't know anything about either character, to be honest.
I'm in the same boat. I really don't know a whole lot. I only know that according to fans, Kirito just pulls things out of his butt to win. So like,
fair enough.
He just like always like somehow magically gets the thing, even though he doesn't really earn it. So that might save him. It depends on the writer. I think that's what it comes down to.
Powerful weapon.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got to go Megaman.exe, although I admit I don't know the full extent of Kirito's powers. So next up is $5 from RecBCQ saying, I want to make my ability to talk video games better. I've missed out on a lot of games. What game should I play to become more video game literate? Oh, man. I mean, that's first of all, thank you for the super chat. That's a super open-ended question, man. I mean, I don't think there are any games you can play that wouldn't make you more. I mean, like you don't need to play the guy game. Like that's not going to make you more video game literate. But like, you know, Mario, Sonic, Final Fantasy, you know,
and
Halo.
But here's the thing: even if you don't play those games and you play other ones,
exactly,
it doesn't make you less illiterate. You know, it just gives you a different place to come from, which makes you honestly more unique.
And
if you play the games you like.
Yeah.
So, right.
There are major games I've not touched, so yeah.
Really quick, Mark Tapia mentioned something of interest in our YouTube chat saying, remember KO the Kangaroo apparently is coming back. And yes, it is. But one of the reasons I didn't make it a news topic, full disclosure, I'm my day job, I'm actually working on PR for that game. So I can't, you know, it would be a conflict of interest. But I think it is cool. I've been really happy to see all the people out there who are fans of KO.
I honestly thought it was a remake when I first saw it. I didn't realize it was a brand new game.
Yeah, no, it's really, it's a reboot. You know, and like I said, I can't talk about it due to conflict of interest, but I'm really happy so many of you out there seem to be really excited about KO coming back. But yeah, this is my episode today. I'm hosting, so couldn't really talk about something I'm personally working on, you know. So but I did want to at least give it a name drop, and I'm excited.
Thank you for teaching me, by the way, because I had no idea. I always read it Cal. I didn't realize it was KO. And once you said KO, I'm like, oh, he has a boxing
because he punches.
Yeah.
KO. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how it turns out. But with that said, we do have some news topics to talk about today. Like I said, we may not have too much to say on each individual one, but it should still be fun. So actually, two of our news stories today have to do with video game movie news. And the first one is coming up right now. So let's get that up on screen. So, one of my personal favorite actors, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, has said in an interview with Men's Journal, of all places, that he's making another video game-related movie, bringing, and I quote, "one of the biggest, most badass games to the screen, one that I've played for years." And I think we can all obviously agree that it's Rockman. The Rock is making a Rockman movie, and that's obviously what this. No, I wish, and maybe I wish. I don't know. That would be weird. But this is actually the question he answers is in the context of having a long history with Microsoft and Xbox. So his answer is, "I've always been a big Madden fan. I can't tell you which game in particular we're doing, but there will be an announcement this year. We're going to bring one of the biggest, most badass games to the screen, one that I played for years." So he doesn't outright confirm, the interviewer's question about it being Xbox related, but you could imagine him. It's easy to see him like maybe doing Gears of War or Halo or something, right?
Gears of War. Actually, I never thought about Gears of War, but boy, put a bandana on him. He is basically Marcus Phoenix, isn't he?
That's the first thing that popped
really
up in my mind when I thought of a video game franchise that he would consider badass that he's played for a long time. Gears of War was the first thing that popped up in my mind. But
you know what? I'm down. I'm down for that.
Are you down?
I think Gears of War could work as a movie.
I'm not like the biggest. I'm not really a Gears fan at all myself, in terms of just it's not really my thing. Which is funny because we're going to end up talking about Gears of War twice today. But I could totally see him doing a Gears of War movie. Like, as you said, he just would step into the role of Marcus Phoenix pretty seamlessly, I think. But I could also see potentially Halo. He, as Juan Delgado in our live audience patron chat says, why not just make him Doom guy again? Probably because Doom was a really bad movie. It's probably not something that needs to happen again.
I've not seen it, but I've not heard good things. And that was early in his career, so... I have heard decent things about Rampage. I've not seen it, but I've heard it's actually pretty decent.
Okay. Classy Mudkip makes a great point. There is already a live-action Halo series in the works, so it's probably not that. Yeah, I mean, they could do a movie and a live-action series at the same time, but I agree, Classy Mudkip, it probably isn't that. So I guess I keep kind of coming back to Gears of War. Is there anything else you guys can think of that maybe it could be?
I wonder if they'd ever make a Grand Theft Auto movie. Like that just
that would be
seems
wild
so out there. Yeah.
Right.
Like just the name brand is kind of weird.
I don't think he'd be talking about like a Perfect Dark movie. So
no, probably not.
If it's Microsoft based, I feel like it would have to be Gears of War, unless he's really into fighting games. Maybe it's Killer Instinct.
Yeah. I could see Killer Instinct maybe. I mean, who would he play though? Like, I guess.
Does Killer Instinct have like a story behind it?
I have no idea. I've honestly never played.
I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think it has much of one. Yeah, I keep coming back to Gears of War.
I mean, it is all about that badass machismo, and that just, I'm sorry, it fits him like a glove.
Exactly. So yeah, I guess it could be that. I still, there's that image that's been floating around on the internet forever about the whole Rockman movie starring The Rock. I'm sure we've all seen it.
Oh yeah.
And so I just keep coming back to how funny that would be, even though it would obviously, you know what? Ironically, a live action Mega Man movie starring The Rock would probably still be better than whatever live action Mega Man movie they have in the works right now for Netflix.
Oh God.
That would probably still be better. And I actually just found the image I'm talking about. I'm going to post it in our live audience patron chat right now,
God.
just for posterity.
I want to see
because
The Rock.
It's pretty damn funny.
I want to see The Rock with the Mega Man hair wig.
Oh God,
right.
Yeah, the hair.
There you go. You just saw it right there.
Yeah.
The best part if it was actually just a regular little kid until he transforms into Mega Man.
Yeah. So honestly, that as much as we're all laughing at that, that probably would be better than whatever actual Mega Man live action movie they're making right now. But yeah, so it sounds like we're all kind of landing on Gears of War as for what this could likely be.
That's what I thought. I mean, he said badass. It could be Tembo the badass elephant, right?
Oh yeah.
Is that too much?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got that game and it was something.
It's something, all right. Yeah. He'll play an elephant.
Oh god.
Oh god. Rob Arman X says for the movie's tagline, "Time to get rock hard, 2025." That's okay. This is we've officially gone too far. Science has gone too far. It's time to stop. We've flown too close to the sun. But yeah, we'll see. Video game movies seem like they're getting at least they're trending slightly better overall. Obviously, a lot of them are still not great, but we had Sonic, which was awesome. Uncharted's coming out soon, and at least from previews, it doesn't look like it's going to be trash. It doesn't seem like it's going to be anything special.
Yeah, I haven't really looked at it, but
yeah. But well, I did say we have two pieces of video game movie related news to talk about today, and that's true. So let's get our second news story up on screen, talking about a different game related movie. So we now have confirmation that a sequel to the 2021 Mortal Kombat movie is in development, and it's going to be scripted by Jeremy Slater of the Moon Knight series, the MCU Moon Knight series. It's coming up right now, starring Oscar Isaac. And hell yeah, we actually talked about this movie very soon after GVG launched, because it came out, I think, back in March of last year, if I remember correctly. It was one of our first discussions that we did, and I think Steve and I generally liked it enough, and Derek, you kind of landed, I think, a little less great on it, right? You were kind of like,
it's fine, but I mean, nobody liked Cole, and it's one of those things where the problem with it, and that's the thing I've seen how most people react to this is, oh, cool, I wonder if we'll actually have a Mortal Kombat tournament and a Mortal Kombat movie this time.
Exactly. Like, I enjoyed the movie, but yeah, it was lacking an actual tournament. It was lacking Johnny frickin' Cage.
Oh, no.
And then it had...
I mean, that is what they teased at the end of this one. So
they did tease at the end, so he's got to be in the sequel. But it's just Mortal Kombat without Johnny Cage is like peanut butter without jelly. He's Johnny frickin' Cage, man. But I liked it enough. The worst part was the main character, Cole. Like, I mean, that was unfortunately the linchpin of the movie. The main character who they designed originally for this movie story was just a big wet fart. And didn't his power, whatever his arcana, whatever the hell it was, end up just being
dumb armor,
body armor and tonfa?
Yeah.
Like they played that up the whole movie, and it ended up being like one of the lamest powers possible. And I'm like, what are you doing? But I still like the movie overall, so I'm down for a sequel.
I mean, Kano was fun.
Kano was great. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was really great in that.
Did you see it, Naveed?
No, I have to watch it. I was going to say, I heard a lot of mixed things. I think mostly it was on the side of like, it was a fun watch. It wasn't like an amazing movie, but it was a fun watch. Like, that's like the majority of the opinions I heard. But I do love that original old Mortal Kombat movie. So good. So
it doesn't match the cheesiness of that, but it's still but it's better than Armageddon. It's just, it comes down on fine, and it has the level of violence you'd expect from a Mortal Kombat movie. There are fatalities in it, but I wouldn't say any of them are too wild, except for maybe one or two. Mm-hmm. It's fine. That's what it comes down to. I think I did read something where when they were developing this, they did originally envision before the tournament, during the tournament, after the tournament as their like trilogy, which there's not enough plot between Mortal Kombat 1, 2, and 3 to get an actual trilogy, right?
Right. Yeah.
It's
so odd. Do you both know the writer for the original, like the first one of these movies, like the one that came out a couple years ago or whatever?
No.
Offhand, I don't. I was actually looking up Jeremy Slater's IMDb page.
Who is the original writer for this? The first movie. Let's
see.
Because by the sounds of it, it's the screenplay of the first movie was Greg Russo and Dave Callahan.
Right.
And Greg Russo sounds familiar. Oh, cool.
And the
Greg
story
Callahan
was
did the screenplay to Doom. Good stuff.
Oh, great.
Nice.
I mean,
nice.
to be fair, he has done good movies. He did the well, fine. Actually, no. He worked on Shang-Chi. He co-wrote. He was one of the co-writers. Nice. He co-wrote. Hi, Amy. She really likes Shang-Chi.
Oh, Shang-Chi was so damn good.
Well, no.
She
really likes Shang-Chi. Like, she was like,
oh, the actor.
Nice. Type thing of doing his first fight scene. He's also one of the co-writers of Across the Spider-Verse. But then he also...
All right, well, he's done some good stuff.
Yeah, a production rewrite on Ant-Man where he's uncredited. But he's also done, like, the original Godzilla 2014, Zombieland, Double Tap, Wonder Woman 84. So he has some good ones and he has some stinkers.
Yeah.
And then for Jeremy Slater, who's the writer on the sequel, as I mentioned before, he's working on the MCU series for Moon Knight, but he also did the Umbrella Academy, the Exorcist TV series, and the screenplay for Death Note, the movie, which I didn't hear was great. And also, he also wrote a horror movie called The Lazarus Effect, which I saw, and it was dumb, but it was enjoyably done. So. He's got some kind of a mix, some good stuff, some not so great stuff. But I liked the first one enough where I'm in for the second one. And, he's got a strong enough history that I feel pretty good about like where it could go. I just hope they don't focus so much on Cole. And I know, Helen Hates Dingo in our patron chat, you said you really like Cole. More power to you. Like I thought the actor was great. The actor is great. It wasn't his fault. I just felt like he wasn't given a very interesting character to play, but the actor's great, and if you liked him, and more power to you. Nothing wrong with that. But I just want to see who's going to play Johnny Cage. Johnny Cage, man, you got to have him in a Mortal Kombat movie, and I'm looking forward to seeing. Yeah,
I think now that they have things established, they can go a little bit harder this time.
Right.
Just because they most of the characters who die in this movie are not really needed. They brought in some lesser known Mortal Kombat characters just to kill. So
basically,
yeah. I with the right trailer, I think they can make this work. Because that said, the final fight between Scorpion and Sub-Zero is pretty good. And they bring back noobs. Yeah. If they go the noob side bot route, they could do some fun things with that.
Right. I agree. And I'm guessing we probably won't see this until 2023 at the earliest.
Yeah, it's going
to... If it's just now being written, it's probably not coming for a while.
Yeah. I think it's cool that it's happening, though. I think enough people thought it was a fun watch that, it sounds like it's worth it for them to... they're probably planning, obviously, more, but it's definitely worth it for those people that did enjoy the first one to...
I think it was
on these.
A surprise hit. I think this did better than they expected, but it was also one of the first movies after the lockdowns ended and things were kind of opening up. So it was like people were just like, go, we need to go get out of the house, see something. What's out? Mortal Kombat, sure. Let's go see that.
Yeah. But all this chatter just reminds me that we are going to get to see Sonic 2 in a matter of months now. It's only That's 3 months away, or 2.5 months really. And so Mortal Kombat, I'm excited for you, but you're further down the line. Give me that Sonic 2 in my veins right now. But I think we've said just about all we can about all the movie news today. We do have another super chat, though, from our good friend Becca's Live for $5. Thank you very much. Saying best game by reputation in your backlogs.
That I haven't played or that I just own?
I assume it would be that we haven't played since it would be in our backlog.
Oh, in that case, easily Final Fantasy VI.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
I was going to say any of the Final Fantasies, name them. I haven't played them.
Yeah.
Tales of Arise I have in my backlog, and that's, but I've played other Tales of games, and I know Arise sounds like it's pretty good. But I don't know if that's the biggest one by reputation. Although Danny would kill me for saying that if he was here right now, he would be so offended. I'll have to think about that one. But Yeah.
I got another one since Derek said Final Fantasy. I would say maybe like Metal Gear Solid. Haven't played any of the Metal Gear Solid games, so maybe
that's a good one.
That would be
yeah.
And actually, I just thought of probably a better one, God of War 2018. I never got to get around to it, but I want to play it. And obviously, almost everyone loves that game. It's the first time I've ever personally been interested in Kratos as a character, so
I gotta check
that's
that
something I genuinely want to play. Also, The Last Guardian, that's also still in my backlog, and that's probably also counts. But I'd probably say God of War is top.
Zap Branna Glenn, yeah. Nier Automata's on my list as well that I need to play.
And Nier Replicant for me. So that's another one for me that would be, quite
there's a lot of highly rated games that I have that I need to actually beat.
There's so many games out there. It's so difficult to get to everything.
It really is. That said, there is a ticking clock. Thanks to Final Fantasy 14, there is a ticking clock where I need to play and beat Nier Automata before I can do a certain raid series, because it's a canon sequel to that game. So
right. Oh shit. Well, FF14 for me, and I mean, I say it's my backlog. I don't think I'll ever truly get to play it because of the hundreds of hours it would take me to get through everything. But FF14, if that counts as a backlog game, would probably be right alongside God of War 2018 in terms of like hugely, having a hugely positive reputation, but I haven't played it.
It sucks you in, and it's available. It's on sale again.
I know.
The free trial's not back, but it's on sale.
I'm with you.
Only I could buy. Yeah.
I can't put that time into one game. It's so hard for me to do that.
Yeah, the only game I can do that with is Smash, but that's a game that I've done that with over so many years as a series. Mm-hmm. And Ultimate too, but it's like, it's not a game that's just a game I'm going to keep playing forever, and Smash just in general. But FF14, I don't have time for an MMO, even though I'm a hardcore Final Fantasy fan, and I know that I'm missing out. I know it, and it just hurts to think about it.
I mean, it's nice because trust me, I talked the same way for a long time. You find ways to make it work with the way it is. Plus, it's a game I can play with Amy, so that makes it a little more attractive.
I wish I could buy, like, instead of buying new games to play that I don't have time for, I wish I could buy more time. To do everything I want to do, play all the games I want to play, have all the experiences I want to have. Come on, science, hurry up. Why don't we have immortality yet? Come on.
we need that hyperbolic time chamber.
Exactly. All right, we do have a few more super chats coming in. Thank you so much, everybody. Screamo Shaman with $2 saying, Dwayne The Rock Johnson is Minecraft Steve. I'd watch it. I would watch it. I'd be curious. I'd watch it. Also, $5 from Music is Life, man. Thank you very much. I don't recognize your name, so nice to see you in the chat. Thank you. Saying, have to head back to work, but regarding Mortal Kombat 2 news, I still want Cole Young to be offed. His actor is fine, but character very Couldn't agree with you more. I would not really
give him the Johnny Cage Armageddon, not Armageddon, Annihilation treatment.
Exactly. Yeah, I wouldn't miss him if he was offed. I don't know if they'll do that though, since he was like created as the main character for the movies, but would be a cool surprise if they did, I think.
Or just sort of leave him to not worry about it or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. Sonic and Mega Man 531 is back with $2 more. Thank you. Saying it's the movie that The Rock is in is going to be Sonic the Hedgehog 3, where The Rock voices Shadow. I would watch that too. We got Knuckles, Idris Elba, The Rock voicing Shadow. Let's go.
It'd be a good voice for Shadow.
It would be.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a bad one. I'm trying to think of the other voice that would work well for Shadow.
I'm hireable, Sega. They should really just hire me, the ultimate life form.
Oh, there you go.
That would be really fun. I would love to play Shadow. That would be so fun. Digimanda is here with a super chat, a previous TNT guest. Great to see you with $5. Thank you very much. Saying Naveed is best boy. Hi, Naveed, and good people of GBG. I hope everyone is doing well. Well, same to you, Digimanda, and really great to hear from you.
Amanda's wonderful as well.
Oh, yeah. She is playing through Resident Evil 2, I believe, fantastic. And that's just funny.
Yeah. It is.
Oh, man. This is great. Squire in our YouTube chat said or suggested Adam Driver for Shadow. I could see that. Yeah. Given Kylo Ren and just his whole broodiness and the way he talks as Kylo Ren, I could totally see Adam Driver as Shadow. That would be pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Well, speaking of shadows, there's a certain company that's been casting a huge shadow over the video game industry for a long time now. And you know where I'm going with this. Yeah, it's Activision-Blizzard, and they're finding new ways to rob workers of their rights, or at least try to. So let's talk about that a bit and get that up on screen. So you may have already heard that post-Microsoft acquisition, Activision-Blizzard are now refusing to acknowledge Raven Workers' request to recognize their QA union by a deadline which has just passed, and that's basically setting up an ugly legal battle. And this was reported by Jason Schreier on Twitter, but it's expected that Activision-Blizzard is their position is going to argue that all 300 plus Raven employees should be able to vote on whether or not to unionize, not just the group of 34 QA testers who are actively seeking a union. And, you know, you look at the quote from an Activision Blizzard spokesman, and it's the usual bullshit like, well, we support workers' rights to do what they want to do, and we just think everyone there should have a voice. So we oppose, you know, these 34 people taking matters into their own hands. Let's make sure everyone has a voice. What it really is they don't want them to unionize because
this is a classic union busting technique. That's really all it is.
It's unsurprising coming from obviously a big corporation. They want to have control over, you know, what these employees get paid and then all this stuff. Obviously, they'll be out there saying, yeah, we support them. We want them to have, you know, good livable wages and all that stuff. But they just don't want others to have a say in that and the workers themselves. So it's
honestly, I hope that just means that the rest of them go like, yeah, let's unionize. Just completely screw it over.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Juan in our patron chat mentioned or asked why isn't Microsoft doing anything about this? And as Classy Mudkip replied, because the deal hasn't closed yet. They're not actually taking over until, at the very least, mid next year. So we do unfortunately have to deal with regular ass shitty Activision Blizzard for at least another year and a few months at minimum. And so, you know, they're going to take that time to do as much damage to their employees as possible, I would imagine. And I hope the unionization efforts work. I really do. Obviously, Activision Blizzard are going to do everything in their power to, you know, bust any sort of unionization attempts. But my fingers are crossed and my heart goes out to, you know, all the Raven employees who are trying to make this happen, because Activision Blizzard needs the L in this case. They need the L in all the cases, but they really do in this case.
I can't imagine many things where they need a win, because...
No, that's true. In all the cases, really. Yeah. I mean, I guess really the only win, so, you know, recently has been the fact that Microsoft is eventually taking over, and hopefully they're going to use that opportunity to clean house. And as we reported before, Activision Blizzard employees have expressed hope that is actually going to be the case. We can only...
I'm glad they have hope. I don't have any. I honestly don't know. I don't think there's much that's going to change. Like, Microsoft puts on a good front, you know, but as Mr. L says, Microsoft has union busted before. They are still a corporation, so...
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, you can be as consumer-friendly, like, looking as possible from the outside, but at the end of the day, they're a big corporation, too, so they want to...
Yeah.
They want to protect themselves and everything.
But I guess on the other hand, though, and I agree, I mean, I don't expect Microsoft to be pro-union for any of these employees either. But they also, as we mentioned before when reporting on the acquisition, they knowingly took over responsibility for the flaming trash heap that Activision Blizzard has become in terms of the sexual harassment and, you know, squashing marginalized voices, employee abuse. They've willingly taken ownership and responsibility for that. So it's hard to imagine that they're not going to at least try and clean house in some way. But I agree that it probably won't go to the extent of being, oh yeah, pro-union, workers' rights. I agree with you. I doubt that's not going to, I don't see that happening.
I certainly think it's going to be a better situation overall for everybody, but maybe not all the way, like you said, Ash, to what people want.
It's a step in the right direction, but with some poor implications, which I've gotten into before, so I don't want to repeat myself or anything like that. But I just, this whole thing is just like, I feel for them. It sucks, but just it's gonna be, they're gonna get fought every step of the way because they just successfully have made union seem like a dirty word, and it's just it's dumb. It's dumb.
But they may hopefully get what they want here. So now, the deadline was 6 p.m. Eastern time yesterday, and because they didn't hear from Activision-Blizzard and AB, refused to recognize the union, they are now filing for a union election with the National Labor Relations Board. And this all comes from the WAPO, by the way, Washington Post. There are 34 workers at Raven, which is based in Madison, Wisconsin, and they say they have a supermajority of votes within their department, which would mean that they can formalize their union via the NLRB without Activision-Blizzard management recognition. And if this union wins 50% plus one of the votes within the department, Activision-Blizzard has to start bargaining with the group over work conditions in good faith. So if what these people at Raven are saying is true, they may get what they want here. And I really hope they do. I really hope so. Yeah. We'll probably be talking about it on a future, episode or video or something when we find out. But I'm so tired of talking.
Yeah, I know. I hate talking about this. I said my piece.
Like I said, it was a slow news
nothing
day,
different, but
yeah, it's just, it kind of comes back to the same fuck Activision Blizzard talking points.
You just had to represent KO. We talked about the random revival of KO, but you just had to work for it, Ash.
Yeah, just had to have that day job. God, yeah, how could I? So it's just, I don't think we need to belabor the point. Everybody knows how we feel about Activision Blizzard. Everybody feels that way about them. We're hoping for the best for, the people at Raven to get what they want in terms of unionization. But yeah, I agree. There's no need to belabor the point. And I really wish Activision Blizzard news would stop coming out on Wednesdays or in time for Wednesdays, which are my hosting days. I want more fun stuff to talk about, man. Come on. Okay, well, anyway, no new super chats at the moment, so let's go ahead and move on to our next news story, in which the Gears of War maybe start turning anew. Let's get that up on screen. So we have caught a rumor over from Games Radar that the Gears of War series might be getting a Master Chief Collection style collection. This is not something that is expected to materialize. If it's real, this is still a rumor. It is not expected to materialize until 2023, though. So, if you're a Gears fan, you're still waiting a while. And we don't know that it's definitely happening, but basically this rumor came from Nick Baker, who's the host of the Xbox Era podcast. And they said on a podcast, and I quote, "There is another Microsoft franchise that will be getting the Master Chief Collection's treatment." And Baker said he's not allowed to reveal which franchise it is. But after that, The Verge's Tom Warren tweeted that, quote unquote, the Gears are really turning on this rumor, which, that's putting it up there in bright lights, man. Like, of course. So it's probably Gears of War. But again, keep in mind that we don't have 100% confirmation, but it would make a certain degree of sense. I think there are, 7 games in the series now? There's the 5 mainline games, and then there's Tactics and Judgment. Is that correct?
I don't know. Let me look that up.
Let's see. Yeah, Judgment sounds right. Was that a spinoff?
It was a spinoff. And actually, Derek, don't even worry about it. Games Radar, if you scroll down a bit, confirms exactly what I just said. There are 7 games, 5 mainline games, and 2 spinoff titles in Judgment and Gears Tactics.
What? Nobody's counting Gears Pop?
Oh, God, no, I forgot about that.
I just saw that one here.
Oh, I remember when they announced that. When we were at the Microsoft conference where they were, the E3 conference where they announced it. It was like, that was such a big WTF moment. Yeah. Naveed, are you a Gears of War player at all?
I've played them. I wouldn't say I'm like the biggest fan of Gears of War. I think they're fun co-op shooters. I really don't play them single player, to be honest, but having a collection completely makes sense to me of the Gears game. At least like 1, 2, 3, maybe bring those out in a Master Chief's collection style thing. I would really want to see an updated Gears 1 though, at the very least, because that's one of those games. It hasn't aged well, at least visually. That was one of those very early Xbox. It was the
advent of brown.
That one was great. Yeah. Like that was like even uglier than brown. Like Gears of War 2 went more orange brownish looking.
Well, didn't Gears of War 1 already get a remake?
Yeah, an Ultimate Edition for the
guess,
Xbox
yeah,
One, but it was for the Xbox One, and nobody remembered.
Okay, so it could use a remake of a remake. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember if that one even like they changed anything up other than like just making it higher resolution or everything like that. So maybe
It is called a remaster here. It's called a remaster, so it's not like a remake. So yeah. Sure.
I did play a little bit of Gears of War 1 in co-op in college, and Naveed's right. Co-op, it's a blast. It really does the trick, and especially when it's the one that introduced Horde mode. That's definitely a legacy. It also has one of my favorite commercials of all time. If you guys remember the Mad World trailer, you guys know me. I don't really play Xbox, but I saw that commercial and I'm like, oh dear, I want to play this. This looks good. Like that. That's when I started looking at 360. I'm like,
Yeah, I think I was the same way. I think I saw that commercial and saw Halo 3, and that actually is what made me get an Xbox over a PS3 at the time.
Oh wow!
Because I actually I won like a gift card from oneup.com, if you guys remember that.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow, OneUp. Rest in peace. I love that site.
Yeah, I did too. I love clubs. I ran some clubs. Had my page.
Nice.
It was great. But yeah, I won like a gift card from that, and it actually came with Time Crisis 4 for the PS3. So I think they wanted you to buy a PS3 with that gift card, but I ended up getting the 360 instead. And I think it was Gears of War, that commercial, and Halo that I really wanted to play. So
nice. Yeah, I got a 360 before the PS3 as well, because Sony had suddenly, they stumbled so hard out of the gate that generation with the PS3's pricing. I played my 360 to death, and it wasn't until Metal Gear Solid 4 came out that I finally got a PS3. So yeah, I mean, and as some of you know, I lapsed a little bit during the Xbox One years, but I've just been playing our community members Becca's Xbox Series S to death with Forza Horizon 5, and I'm fully back on the Xbox train with the series consoles. So I play everything everywhere. I play everything I can, regardless of console. Zap Braniglin in our YouTube chat has a great idea for what this potential collection could be named: Gears of War: The COG Collection. That's perfect.
Oh, that is good.
Like, there you go. Like, I feel like you got the name right there. I don't even know really. Like, the Master Chief Collection has a better ring to it than the Marcus Phoenix Collection, right? Like,
I mean, yeah, if you're getting 4 and 5 in there, it's not really about Marcus Phoenix at that point.
That's true too.
There's Judgment in there. It's not really about him, and same with Gears Tactics. So
yeah,
there is that aspect. I mean, what I got to play it, I really enjoyed it, but only Gears of War 1. I've not encountered anything of 2 and beyond. And they generally look fine, but they also became sort of, because they were so ubiquitous, the big, beefy, burly military types fighting monsters definitely became a trope for a while. I think it also really introduced the whole cover mechanic that games just started aping constantly.
Right.
Well, it made it, it popularized it, because I think other games did have it before that point.
But you did see, man, like so many games after that, like cover shooters really started to.
I think Uncharted was not long after Gears of War, and cover shooting and all that.
We have a couple of other potential ideas in our YouTube chat for what this rumored collection or remaster could be. TuneJ723 says plot twist: it's actually Blink's the Time Sweeper, and that would be a deep ass cut right there. Mr. L says, when's my Fable collection with the bugs actually fixed? And you know what? If the whole Gears are turning thing hadn't been specifically said, I would say Fable is at least in the running, but it's totally Gears of War. Like, yeah, it's got to be. So that's kind of where we're at. It's still a rumor at this point, but and we likely, if it is real, we likely won't hear about anything about it until 2023. But if you're a Gears of War fan, something to keep in mind. Also, I apologize to those of you who thought GOW in the thumb meant God of War. I should have just put Gears. I didn't even think about it at the time.
I think Gears is on the picture. This episode
kind of came together last minute. Yeah, but Gears is on the picture, so I thought it was fine, but I didn't think about it at the time. This episode kind of came together a little bit last minute.
It always confuses me when I see AC and it could be Assassin's Creed or Animal Crossing. I don't know.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Gantoris asks, "You going to return that Xbox someday, Ash?" When Becca pries it out of my cold, dead hands. No, of course I am. I'm going to send it back to her whenever she wants it. I do still plan to get my own Series X, so I'm getting a Series X at some point. She just lent it to me until I get to that point, so I could play, some Xbox games for our Game of the Year discussions and stuff. So, of course, I'm going to send it back. Who do you think I am? Of course. All right. Well, no more super chats right now. So we do have one more news story for the day, and this one's fun. This is just a couple of weird random anecdotes from the legendary Shigeru Miyamoto about a couple of old Zelda games. So let's get that up on screen. Okay, so you thought you hated Navi? Clearly, apparently not as much as Miyamoto did, because he even called her stupid in this Nintendo Life news story.
I mean,
well,
it's not.
It's
not insulting. It's like not
right.
The character is stupid. It's just the AI of the character was dumb.
Exactly. So this actually came. Nintendo Life uncovered a 1999 interview that was originally part of a Japanese strategy guide, but has finally all this time later been translated into English and published online by shmuplations.com. And during this interview, the context here is that he's asked about Ocarina of Time's puzzles, and he just kind of got into Navi as a whole and said that the way they delivered hints in Ocarina of Time was a little bit unfriendly, and how hard it is to design a system that gives proper advice that's tailored to the player's specific situation. And he says that to do that right, you'd have to spend the same amount of time as you would developing an entire game, and he was worried they'd be digging themselves into a hole if they tried to do that. So, as kind of like an olive branch, they designed the Navi system, which she gives canned advice to the player based on where they are in the game, but it isn't necessarily tailored to a player's specific struggles with an individual puzzle or something. And so, yeah, as Derek said, he's not actually calling Navi the character stupid, but just the overall way in which her hints are delivered is not the smartest way they could have done that. And he says he has regrets on that front.
Do we know, I never did the comparison when I played Ocarina of Time 3D on the 3DS, but did they kind of slow down some of those hints from Navi in that game compared to the N64 version? Because I'd be interested to see if they went back and kind of fixed some of those things that he didn't like.
I don't think they did. I think they kept it
I don't think so.
Pretty faithful. I mean, he didn't like it, but it would take a lot of work to fix the way he wants it to.
Exactly.
Because he says here, it's if we tried to make Navi's hints more sophisticated, the stupidity would have actually stood out even more. In truth, I wanted to remove the entire system, but that would have been even more unfriendly to players. He says you could think of Navi as being there for players who stopped playing for a month or so, who then pick a game back up and want to remember what they were supposed to do. So
right. Yeah, he says, I know that it makes it sound bad, but we purposely left her at kind of a stupid level with it, kind of that. And he says stupid in quotes, but what he means is kind of like that macro level, top level hint that the widest majority of players might need in certain situations, but they couldn't tailor her too much beyond that to each individual struggle, because then they'd get lost in the weeds. And at that point, as he said, it's like making a whole nother game. So, yeah.
And I feel like they've had kind of trouble trying to figure that out, like the whole hint system in Zelda games since then. I mean, Breath of the Wild didn't have anything really, so that was so open-ended. But even in Skyward Sword with Fi, there was that character was they tried to give Fi some more character, but it was still mostly a hint-based system that was not the greatest. So it is tough. It's a tough balancing act for sure.
Right.
I actually think one of the more interesting parts about this interview was the part where he talks about the combat mechanics from Ocarina of Time.
Agreed.
So
yeah.
Take us in it if you want to talk about that. Go for it.
Yeah, so he was just talking about how they wanted to give the combat in Ocarina of Time a little bit more depth, and he specifically mentions something. He doesn't want maybe as much complexity as something like Tekken, but maybe more along the lines of a fighting game where you'll have different types of attacks. I think that would be really cool, and I think they tried to move a little bit more towards that gradually with Wind Waker, and then with not so much Twilight Princess, but Skyward Sword. They definitely had a lot more combat mechanics for sure there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But on the other side of that, and this is so a Miyamoto thing, he said about a year into development on Ocarina, I realized if we leaned too heavily into the sword combat, it'd end up being more difficult than Mario 64. So they wanted to pull back and ease into the simpler system that exists today in the Ocarina we know and love today. So usually Miyamoto is want to kind of lean more on the let's make it a little easier side of things to bring in as many people as possible rather than wall people off with a higher difficulty level, which it's a valid approach, and I totally get that. Mm-hmm. Ocarina of Combat, it's not like obviously very complex, but I'm still able to go back to the game today and it's still fun. Yeah, is it simple? Sure, but it's still fun.
Yeah,
you have a dodge, you have an attack. I mean, the Z targeting was very inventive at the time, so like that felt like it was new and different. So
I'm reading more of the actual interview, and one of the things he mentions is like, well, Ocarina of Time, the interview says, while Ocarina of Time features familiar characters like Tektites and Armos Knights, there are also some notable absences. The Mario series regular Chain Chomp, for instance, who appeared in A Link to the Past, didn't make the cut. And Miyamoto says, actually, Chain Chomp was in there up to the very end, but in the final revisions, we removed him. And it was originally going to be in Gerudo's fortress, where if the Chain Chomp grabbed Link, he'd be bound by chains. It could only escape by using the hammer to break the chain links.
That would have been cool.
That would have been cool. Would have been really neat. It would have been cool to have Chain Chomp in there, but it's like I feel like Chain Chomp needs to stay in Link's Awakening and only Link's.
I think so too. Like it makes sense in that game with all the other Mario characters, but if you brought Chain Chomp into like a full on like real Zelda game, I mean, I'm not saying Link's Awakening isn't a real Zelda game, but you know what I'm saying.
Traditional and not dreamlike.
Yeah.
Right. Ukulele Sky makes a great point in our live audience patron chat, one I completely agree with, saying all games should have a shit, I haven't played in a month, what am I doing button. I can't tell you how many times I've restarted
RPGs especially.
RPGs especially. Every game needs that button. I completely agree. But this isn't the only anecdote that has been uncovered, or only Miyamoto anecdote that has been uncovered about older Zelda games. There's also another one that Nintendo Life reported on, also from an interview that I think from the same interview actually. And he talks about the very first Legend of Zelda game and mentions how it was almost 100% dungeons originally, and that there was no overworld map. And he kind of goes into a little bit of detail in this, saying, in every Zelda development, the dungeons take a huge amount of time to make. I can't tell you how many times they end up having to be remade and revised while the team is on the verge of tears. Did you know, in the original Legend of Zelda, at the beginning of development, it was just dungeons. There was no overworld map. That's a testament to the dungeon supremacy philosophy we've always followed. However, with Ocarina of Time, for the first time, we didn't spend as much time on the dungeons. It was a very un-Zelda thing to do. And what I find really interesting about that last part is that he says they kind of scaled back on the focus on dungeons in Ocarina of Time, and yet it ended up having one of the most infamously complex dungeons to date in the series, in the Water Temple. So it's kind of interesting how that worked out, despite him saying they kind of scaled back on the dungeon focus a bit in Ocarina. But it's weird.
I'm in the interview at that section itself. Mm-hmm. He's the interviewer is like, wait, you're telling me that these hugely complex dungeons in Ocarina didn't take long to make? He's like, well, compared to the previous Zelda games, yeah, it may be because we were working from completely new ideas this time, but Ocarina of Time are not further iterations on Labyrinth ideas from A Link to the Past. So we weren't constrained by those earlier notions, and they didn't have to feel like they needed to have a linear maze that players needed to navigate. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what made it a little easier for them, which is really fascinating.
They're saying kind of he had that because of maybe the 3D factor, that he had more freedom in creating these dungeons, so it was easier. Mm-hmm. That sounds like what he's saying there.
It feels like it, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's weird to even think of Zelda 1 without an overworld component, because that has become so intrinsic to Zelda's DNA. Not just in the first game, but throughout the series, having that overworld linking the dungeons together. Obviously not counting Breath of the Wild. That's a bit of its own, beast. But imagine like Zelda 1, part of so much of what's great about that game is exploring the world and finding the entrances to these intricate dungeons. And so to have Zelda without that component, I mean, it would have changed the whole course of the series.
Yeah.
Zelda 2, maybe not quite as much, but it still would. A Link to the Past, Link's Awakening, Zelda's entire DNA would have been inextricably changed throughout all the rest of the series without no overworld. So it's just something interesting to think about.
I'd be super interested to see like how they would have kind of had the pacing of the game go. Would it just have been level based or dungeon based? Like they plop you into a dungeon. Once you beat that,
right,
they're like, okay, dungeon number 2, here you go. Like, is that what they would have done? Because it seems like the only way you could really do it, unless they connected the dungeons together.
Right.
Much. So I finished scanning through the interview, and Miyamoto's a liar. He's a dirty liar in this, because it says, what was the most memorable comment you've received from the player feedback postcards? And Miyamoto just said, I want to ride the cows. And then he goes on to say, this is my promise to you. Next game, you will be able to ride the cow. Just a quick jaunt around the pasture, though. There is no cow riding. No cow riding at all. What the hell?
Wow. In Majora's Mask, yeah. Or in any other games in the series.
Exactly. He never came back and did this.
Can you ride like a cow-like creature in Twilight Princess?
No, you just heard sheep.
No. Yeah, you just heard them, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think, I mean, somebody in chat can tell us if we're misremembering something, but I don't believe you're ever able to ride cows.
Yeah.
I mean, you can also ride like a bear, you can ride a deer in Breath of the Wild, but still no cow.
Yeah, exactly. He is denying us cow riding.
0 out of 10. Garbage series. Pre-orders canceled. Breath of the Wild 2 is going to suck. I can't believe this.
Somebody's got to bring that up in another interview. Like, where are the cows?
Right.
Where's the cow?
Remember this old interview where you said, where's the cow riding? Yeah. Oh man. Well, this is, I always love like going back and seeing new behind the scenes takes on well-loved
especially from like so soon after the release. This was way back then. And that makes it a little bit more interesting because it's so fresh in their mind at this point, because it was a 99 developer interview. So and I'm definitely going to be going back and reading that whole thing. I'm really curious I want to read the whole thing. It's a very interesting interview. In fact, just in case any of you want to read it, I'll go ahead and drop the link for you here in the YouTube chat and our live audience patron chat. It seems like it's a really interesting one. So go ahead and hit that up if you'd like to read that later. Just posted it. But as I said, kind of a slow news day. So that really is the end of our news for today. That's all of our topics. But I still think we got a good fun bit of discussion out of what we had to talk about today. But before we end off, you have another fan in the chat, Naveed. Blade Blur says, OMG, Naveed is on. Yay, look at this beautiful Kirby plush. Very cool. But because that leads me to want to ask you, since you do have that awesome Kirby plush in the background, how are you feeling on your hype for Kirby in the Forgotten Land, man? Are you excited?
It's probably the hype I've been for a Kirby game ever, maybe.
Ooh.
I think it's a direction the series needs to go. Like the 2D games are great, but I am all for this new 3D Kirby life that we're about to experience. So I'm very excited, and it's only in a couple months, right? 3 months?
March.
March 25th or 4th. It's close.
We got
just a couple
Pokemon to hold us over.
Yep.
We'll be playing that like a day and a half.
And that one sounds like it's great too. So excited for Pokemon.
Yeah. Well, no, same here. Derek and I are both unbelievably hyped for this game. We're both big Kirby fans. So Kirby's my favorite Nintendo character. It's not even close. I love the little pink puff ball, and I can't wait for this game. We do have one more matchup super chat from Sonic and Mega Man 531. Thank you so much, with $2, saying Rosalina from Super Mario versus Palutena from Kid Icarus. You choose. I feel like just based on what we see, it's got to be Palutena, but I don't want to discount Rosalina. I feel like Rosalina is capable of doing crazy, crazy shit, but we don't really see her do as much. Whereas Palutena, we've seen a lot of what she can do. Although I don't know, this is really close.
Palutena has an army as well.
She does, and Rosalina has Lumas.
Good question.
Yeah, I mean, and Lumas are cute, but I don't know if I'd bet on them over. I mean, I feel like Pit alone could take out an entire
Pit
army.
is devastating.
Rosalina, she can create stars though, like entire. I feel like Rosalina can create galaxies somehow. I don't know the extent of her power, but Palutena is like basically a god too. So I don't know.
Well, and to be fair, Rosalina does reset the universe. Actually, as Drasman Roski just said, Rosalina resets the universe, and that's true. So this one's one of the hardest ones I think we've had so far.
I think so too. I also love Palutena because I
love them both.
Yeah. Isn't there like some sort of piece of lore that says Rosalina has like the entire galaxy in her dress or something, or has like the volume of an entire galaxy in her dress?
I think that's why they say she's so heavy.
Yeah. So like she's heavy class in Mario Kart.
That would make sense now. Oh, I feel like I've heard that, but I didn't think about it in that way. Where like that's why she's the heavy character.
Yeah.
Right. Wow. But Zap Brennington also makes a good point. Palutena's army is about as threatening as a pack of Lumas save for Pit. So it really is like the Centurions suck. And
I guess
so. I feel like they cancel each other out, and it's really just Pit.
Pit is the deciding factor here. It feels like, Pit's defeated other gods.
This is really hard. I think I'm probably going to land on Palutena just barely, but it wasn't the significant gap that I thought it was, because as I thought about how Rosalina can reset the universe, she clearly has cosmic level powers. We just don't really see her use them in a combat sense as much.
Right. She needs Mario to go help her Lumas. She doesn't do it herself. So
yeah, and based on Smash, I feel like Palutena does a lot cooler stuff in Smash than Rosalina typically does.
Yeah,
especially with like her final Smash and. Yeah,
I feel like Palutena might take it. It's going to be close, but I think
so.
Yeah,
I think so.
I'm going to go with my heart and say Palutena as well.
I'm going to go with Palutena.
Super close though. I feel like you could just see Rosalina making a black hole and just sucking everybody up. Like,
right. Also, Joanne brings up a good point. Rosalina can be killed by a Goomba in 3D World.
That is true. That is also true.
It's a great point.
Yeah. I'm going to land on Palutena, I think. While we were debating this, we did get one last. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, but in Smash, Palutena can get killed by Pichu.
True enough.
That's also true. It's so hard with all the different power scaling per game. Yeah. We did get one more super chat while we were debating this very important topic from Trace Hall with $2. Thank you very much. Saying, can you talk about Pokemon before you go? Do you mean Legends Arceus or Arceus, or just Pokemon in general?
I'm guessing Legends, but there's not really much to say. I have not read any reviews. I've heard the general consensus is that it's good. But obviously, since I plan on reviewing it myself, I'm trying to stay away from it. I know GameStop's having a midnight release, so that's nice. So
that's cool. I as I've said before on prior episodes, Arceus is the most excited I've been for a new Pokemon game in a long time, because it's finally stepping out of its comfort zone. So I'm looking forward to checking it out. The reviews seem very positive. I will also say I will defend Generation 6 to the death. I love Pokemon X and Y. I know a lot of hardcore fans don't, but X and Y were awesome, and I will take that to my grave. Just to make it about a wider Pokemon thing for a little bit. Navi, do you have any particular thoughts on Arceus?
I was just going to say, I also didn't read any of the reviews because I want to go in blind as I can. I just saw some of the scores, and that's gotten me excited. I feel like there's got to be something. There's definitely something in there that I don't know about that is really going to shake things up for the Pokemon form. I mean, obviously, already it's shaken up with the open world and what they're trying to do there, but it seems to me like there's going to be something else really new from what I've seen from the scores and people just saying like, oh wow, this is the fresh take that Pokemon needed. Like, this is the right direction for Pokemon to go. Like, I'm very excited. I'm with you, Ash. This was the most excited I've been for a Pokemon game in a very long time as well. Maybe since Black and White. I think I was really excited for Black and White. And since then, my excitement has kind of died down a little bit. I wasn't a huge fan of Sword and Shield, so really going to dive deep into this game, and hopefully it's great. I really want to like it.
Yeah, that's my hope.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I do believe that brings us to the end of the episode, but as always, before we head out, Naveed, please tell our amazing audience where on the internet they can find you, man.
I stream occasionally on Twitch. I make a YouTube video very rarely, but once in a while, and I'm on Twitter. Everything's just my name, Naveed Mohebbi, Naveed_Mohebbi, so pretty easy to find, but yeah.
Cool. Definitely
awesome.
Check it out.
Well, dude, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much again for hanging out with us again. We love
for having
doing
me
this
once again. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's
love
our pleasure.
chatting.
Awesome. Well, we're going to get to keep chatting in our Patreon exclusive post show right after the show ends. But that does bring us to the end of episode 182. Thank you all so much for hanging out with us and doing this with us. We love it. And I do want to extend a special thank you to all of our fans out there who have been giving us so much wonderful, constructive criticism over the past several months. There are so many of you out there who truly want to see us succeed, and you've been giving us such great criticism. And I've said it before, but I want to say it again. We hear you. We're working hard behind the scenes, and I just want to say thank you to all of you in our Discord community, our subreddit, everywhere that you all exist who really want to see us succeed, because I know there are a lot of you out there, and it really means the world to all of us. So just want to say that. Thank you very much. As always, we do have to give an extra special thank you to all of our producers, or all of our patrons at the producer tier and above, for helping to make this show happen, because without you, it would not be happening. So thank you a million times. But as always, we also have to give an extra special thank you to our patrons at the executive producer tier and above. And God damn it, Google, why did you sign me out right now? Google, just sign me out of our producer spread. Hang on, guys. I'm getting it back. I can't believe you, Google.
Of course it did.
Okay. Come on, sign me in. Okay, here we go. So, an extra special thank you to all of our patrons at the executive producer tier and above for all that you do, for all of your amazing support. And those fine, wonderful, amazing, incredible folks are Brandon Bovia, Rob Arman X, Fangs, Dan and Twistle, Z Patty, Hyrule Hermit, Sky Blue Flames, Eastman 23, Adam O'Sullivan, Octopuppet, Richard Herrera, Michael Phone, The D-Pad, Vesmio, Waffle King, Beert J 373, I'm really sorry if I mispronounced that, Critter XD, Kitty Kong Facts, Angel Martinez, Vedran Hotik, Joshua Hunter, Benny Yao, Sapphire, Azran127, Black King, Pagrema, Geller, Joseph Rutkin, Titus Malvolio, Geeky Griffin, Lucky Wonderfish, Kyle, Top Dog 23100, Young Ben Kenobi, Doug Shomix, Andrew Medeiros, Becca, Rocks the Cat, Killamox, Eddie B, Kai Ed, Kit Fisto, Kenneth Lee Stingle, Jessica Toad, Deaneth, Sci-Fi Lullabies, Michael McCaw, Matthew Wong, Goron Amber, Straight Lace, Justin Matthews, Hoobie, Too Much Spaghetti, No Such Thing, Mega Conrad, Ascaron809, Ryaner, Captain Finlandia, 60 Minutes and 60 Seconds, Nathan Steele, Spicy Pand Otter, The Game Orb, Dano the Artist, Super Gamer Dude 101, Grantles, Ravelox, Synchro Lord, Rosa Pardo Bowling, Hasties Mom, Kane Woolley, Skull Kid Tiger, Darksteel 01, Jason Uloa, Jaden Buck, Phantom Project, Cystic Warrior 29, DJ Jurassic, Dinner Sonic, Darik, Jeff Ed, Blaze 25, Stag Nasty, Mumbling Yeti, Cameron Sharp, Screamo Shaman, Mason Riley, Keel, Santi the Person, Brendan Hesse, Hustlebun, Noah Fitterer, Calvin Atkinson, Hinaru77, Brooke Obscura, Anthony Wilson Jr., and last but certainly not least, Eddie Zacianland. Thank you all so much for your incredible support of GVG. We love you all. As if you want to learn more about how you can get on this list, as well as take advantage of all the other perks we offer our patrons, head on over to patreon.com/gvgaming, where you can support us for as little as $1 a month, which gets you into our amazing, incredible Discord community, the best community on the internet, bar none. And $5 gets you into our live audience tier, where you can interact with us and our special guests during TNT and other cool streams live. It's a lot of fun. And it gets you into our patron-exclusive post show, which we're about to go record right now. But as a quick reminder, when we hit 75K subs right here on YouTube, we are giving away a free Switch OLED. All you got to do to win it is be subscribed. And that's it. You might win. Pretty good deal if you asked me. But that's it from us today. We will see you on Friday for the next episode of TNT. And hint, it might be a Steve Tubb stream. We're thinking it's going to be a Steve Tubb stream. So get hyped for that. Should be a lot of fun. Yeah, it's going to be great. We love you all. Good night and good vibes. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.